Hey, y'all. My name is Rosalind, and this is the story of how I went from giving everything to a man who gave me nothing, to walking into his wedding with triplets on my hip and dignity in my heart. Before I dive in, do me a quick favor, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and drop your country in the comments. I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Thank you. Now, let's start from the beginning, because every ending deserves its proper start. That I was 23 when I married Jerome, so full of hope it practically glowed off me. I believed in the fairy tale, love conquers all, a good woman could love a man into being better, marriage was two people building something sacred. Jerome was the kind of handsome that made your girlfriends jealous and your mama nervous. 6'2", smooth dark skin, a smile that could charm the stars from the sky, and words that made you feel like the only woman alive. When he proposed outside that little Atlanta church where we met, I thought I was the luckiest woman on earth. The first red flag was his son, Fred. Not Fred himself, that baby was innocent, but how Jerome talked about Fred's mom, Veronica. She was just a mistake, he'd say whenever I mentioned they still talked. You're my wife now, baby. You're my future. I swallowed those words like bitter medicine, telling myself loving Jerome meant accepting his past. The second red flag hit when we couldn't get pregnant. Month after month, those tests showed one line. And Jerome? He made sure I knew who he blamed. My boy's proof I can make babies, he'd say, pointing to Fred's picture. So what's wrong with you? Those words, what's wrong with you, became the soundtrack of my marriage. Dinner not perfect. What's wrong with you? Asking about his late nights. What's wrong with you? Suggesting we see a doctor. What's wrong with you? I went to the doctor alone. Tests, scans, procedures, cramping, bleeding, crying in hospital parking lots. And the results? I was perfectly fertile. My eggs, tubes, hormones, textbook perfect. Nothing was wrong with me. But when I told Jerome, he barely looked up from his phone. That's good, baby, he mumbled, probably texting Veronica. When I suggested the issue might be him, he snapped, I got a son calling me daddy. Don't start with that nonsense. Jerome's hands were quick to grab, to squeeze too hard when he was mad. Never a hit, he was too smart for that, but his touches left marks, warnings disguised as affection. Worse was the emotional pain. He was a master at tearing me down, making me feel small, worthless, grateful for any crumb of attention. You're lucky I married you, he'd say. Most men wouldn't want a woman who can't give them kids. 6 years I endured this, convincing myself this was marriage. 6 years of watching him text Veronica, slip out for hours, while I lay awake wondering what I was doing wrong. Then came the money. Jerome's job at the auto shop slowed, bills piled up, and his anger always found me. I'd saved $12,000 from my department store job, clipping coupons, skipping lunches, dreaming of a house or fertility treatments. When Jerome found out, his eyes lit up with something like hunger. You've been sitting on $12,000 while I'm stressing about bills, he said. I explained it was for our future, but he cut me off. Our future's now, Rosalind. My boy Damon's opening a second dry cleaning spot. He needs a partner. This is our chance. Every instinct screamed no, but Jerome's rare softness, his promises of a family, hooked me. I gave him everything. That night, I recorded him on my phone, his voice sweet with lies about our future. I'm grateful for that recording. The business took off. Within 6 months, Jerome was making more money than ever, strutting like he'd built an empire. But success didn't soften him, it hardened him. He stayed out later, dressed sharper, smelled of cologne I didn't buy. The texts with Veronica turned to calls, then visits, then overnights. I was still scraping by at the department store, eating ramen while he spent hundreds on clothes and dinners I wasn't invited to, the end came on a Thursday. I'd planned Jerome's favorite dinner, fried chicken, mac and cheese, and saved for a Savannah getaway. But when I got home, I heard voices, Jerome and Veronica, laughing in our living room. "She's so pathetic," Veronica said. "Still playing house like y'all have a real marriage." Jerome replied, "I'm making good money now. I don't need her anymore." Then, the knife, she gave me $12,000. Cleaned out her savings. She'd probably give me her kidneys if I asked nice. They laughed at my love, my sacrifice. I sat in my car for 2 hours, crying, shaking, broken. 3 days later, he tossed divorce papers on the kitchen table. "Sign these," he said. "This isn't working." I begged to fix it, but he shrugged. "I don't love you like that anymore. No prenup, no apologies." Within a month, Veronica and Fred moved into our house. Within 3, I was driving to Chicago with nothing but my Honda Civic and a shattered heart. Back home, Mama was sick, diabetes, high blood pressure, working 2 jobs for meds. Her old restaurant, a neighborhood gem, had been closed for years. "I'm sorry you have to see me like this," she said. I held her hands. "Mama, I should have been here, not chasing a man who didn't want me." She looked at me fiercely. "Don't ever apologize for loving someone, Rosalind. That's your strength." I was a shell, sleepless, barely eating, lost. Then I met Roberts. Tall, lean, kind eyes, a camera around his neck, documenting our neighborhood's revival. He saw a beauty in Mama's old restaurant, spent hours listening to her stories. I hid from him at first, too broken to face anyone. But he was gentle, persistent. "You don't have to talk," he said one day on the porch. "Can I just sit with you?" That quiet company let me breathe again. That it took 3 months to tell him about Jerome. I expected pity, instead, he got angry for me. "That man's a fool," he said. "He'll realize what he gave up." Slowly, I rebuilt. Therapy helped me untangle the trauma. I cared for Mama, studied her restaurant's bones, and dreamed. What if it wasn't a restaurant but a grab-and-go spot for healthy meals? Salads, grain bowls, smoothies, food to nourish busy folks. I worked early grocery store shifts, experimented in Mama's kitchen, tested recipes. Mama was my cheerleader. "This is it, baby," she said, tasting a quinoa bowl. "This changes everything." Roberts offered to film my journey. "I believe in you," he said. I had no money to pay him, but he didn't care. "I'm asking to be part of something meaningful." He captured everything: market trips, late-night prep, failures, wins. It took 2 years of double shifts to save enough to renovate. I learned to tile, paint, install fixtures from YouTube. Roberts helped, and slowly, the restaurant became Nourish, a place of love and health, named for Mama. We opened on a Tuesday in March. I was terrified no one would come, but by noon, the line stretched out the door. People loved our fresh, affordable food. The smoothie bar was a hit. Parents, workers, seniors all came. The first year was tough, 16-hour days, barely breaking even, but Roberts kept filming, urging me to share the videos. I wasn't ready, I was still guarding my heart. By year 2, Nourish thrived. We had regulars, expanded hours, hired staff. I thrived too, stronger, surer. That's when I said yes to Roberts. On a Friday, as we closed up, I told him, "Ask me again." He grinned. "Rosalind, will you go to dinner with me?" "Yes," I said, and it felt like truth. Our first date was simple, Italian, easy talk, like coming home. "I've loved you for 2 years," he confessed. I felt peace, not fear. "I'm ready to love you back," I said. We took it slow, built on friendship and respect. 6 months later, he proposed while chopping onions in Nourish's kitchen. "Marry me," he said. "Okay," I replied. Our courthouse wedding was simple, me in a Target dress, sunflowers from the market. Perfect. 3 months later, two miracles. Roberts posted a Nourish video, keeping my face private. It went viral, 50,000 views, orders pouring in nationwide. Then, I got dizzy, nauseous. 3 tests confirmed it, pregnant. At 8 weeks, the ultrasound showed 3 heartbeats, triplets. Jerome's lies about my infertility shattered. With the right man, my body created 3 lives at once. Pregnancy was hard. I stepped back from Nourish, trusting my team. Our daughters, Zoe, Zara, Zuri, arrived healthy, perfect. Holding them, seeing Roberts's eyes and my nose, I felt whole. Nourish grew, products in stores, our family in a house with a big backyard. We bought Mama a home, too. Life was abundant, private, peaceful. Then, a Sunday call changed everything. We were at family dinner, girls chattering, when Mama's phone rang. An unknown number. She answered, her face darkening. "It's Jerome," she whispered. My world tilted. "Hang up," I said, but she listened. He was marrying Veronica and wanted to invite me to celebrate, since I'd helped him get started. The audacity was a slap, humiliation dressed as an invitation. Mama's polite venom cut through. "Isn't that nice for you?" she said, hanging up. Roberts gathered the girls for baths, sensing the storm. "What do you want to do?" he asked. I thought of the broken woman I'd been and the one I'd become. "I want to go," I said. Not to prove anything to Jerome, but to close that chapter for myself. "We go," Roberts said. "All of us." We planned carefully. Jerome's social media showed his success: fancy cars, a $400,000 house, 3 dry cleaning locations. No mention of my $12,000 seed. I wasn't angry, I was proud I'd helped build something, even if I got nothing. We flew to Atlanta, staying at the Four Seasons for confidence, not flash. The girls wore yellow dresses, little sunflowers. I chose emerald green, elegant, not petty. Roberts looked like a magazine cover. At the wedding, heads turned as we entered the ballroom. Jerome froze mid-laugh, his eyes darting between me, Roberts, and the girls. "Rosalind," he stammered. "You look different." "Husband," Robert said, shaking his hand. "And our daughters, Zoe, Zara, Zuri." Jerome's face paled. "Triplets." "Yes," I said. "Amazing what happens with the right person." Veronica approached, radiant, unaware of who I was. "Beautiful children," she said. "Thank you," I replied. "I'm Rosalind, Jerome's ex-wife." Her smile faltered as she realized. The cocktail hour buzzed, but tension simmered. Jerome's speech was a jab at me, implying I hadn't challenged him, hadn't loved him right. Veronica's was worse. "Jerome's first wife never gave him a child," she said, eyes on me. 6 years and nothing. I gave him 2. I showed him fruitful love. The room went silent. She'd called me barren in front of everyone. Then, the DJ opened the floor for toasts. I stood. "Rosalind Roberts, Jerome's ex-wife," I said, taking the mic. Gasps rippled. "Thank you for inviting me to celebrate your happiness," I began, gracious. Then I played the recording, Jerome promising the $12,000 was for our future. I held up my medical records. "I'm perfectly fertile," I said. Jerome refused testing, blamed me for 6 years. Then the bombshell: I tested Fred. He's not Jerome's. Neither is Kennedy. Jerome's infertile, always has been. Veronica's glass shattered. The room was chaos, phones recording, guests whispering. I turned to her. You deserve the truth. You're strong enough to build a better life. To the crowd, Jerome invited me to humiliate me. But I'm not that woman anymore. I built Nourish, $1 million business. I'm a mother of triplets, a wife to a man who loves me. Thank you, Jerome, for showing me what I didn't want. We left to applause, shouts, tears. In the limo, Roberts hugged me. You showed them what strength looks like. Zoe piped up, Mama said Jerome was small, but he's tall. We laughed, the tension breaking. Back home, life resumed, Nourish, our girls, Mama's Sunday dinners. 3 weeks later, a gossip blog detailed the wedding drama, exposing Jerome's lies. Veronica filed for divorce, taking Kennedy. Jerome's business faltered, his lifestyle a house of cards. Her lawyer contacted me, suggesting I had a claim to the business. After debating, I pursued it, not for revenge, but justice. The $400,000 judgment went to organizations helping women rebuild after divorce, that led to a book deal, speaking gigs, a platform to inspire women. In Denver, 500 women cheered as I told them, the man who broke me thought he'd humiliate me. Instead, he invited the woman who'd expose his lies and help others reclaim their power. Jerome faded, a footnote in my story. I won the real prize, a life with Roberts, our daughters, Nourish, and a purpose bigger than revenge. Sometimes, the best revenge is living so well that the person who hurt you becomes irrelevant. What would you have done? Ignored the invitation? Was I too much? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe, like, share, and check out our daily videos. See you in the next story. Bye.